Okay, we are going to look at the introduction to quadratics in this video. So let's take a look at our joke of the day here. And I guess I'll just read it. Dear algebra, stop asking us to find your x. She's not coming back. We don't know why either. Okay, let's now move on. Quadratics. Okay, the general form of a quadratic is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. All quadratics have an x squared. Okay, they can also have an x and a number. Higher exponents that are higher than 2 are not quadratics. The shape of a quadratic is called a parabola. So maybe I'll just put one on the screen here just to show you an example. So I'll draw an equation here. Y equals 3x squared minus 2x plus 7. You have to have an x squared for it to be a quadratic. They all have to have the x squared. Okay. Now let's look at this little question here. Circle the quadratic equation. So it has to have an x squared. So you go to the first one. No, there's no x squared. You go to the next one. Yes, there's an x squared right there. The next one. Well, this one here is also a quadratic because there's the x squared here. Okay, let's go to the next one. Yes, there's an x squared, and it's the highest exponent. The x squared has to be the highest exponent. Now this one, no, there's no x squared. This one, no, it's 2 to the x. So those three, because they have the x squared, and there's no higher exponent. This one, and this one. Okay, and then you can try question 2 on your own. Okay, vertex. So what's a vertex? Highest, maximum, or lowest minimum point. Okay, x-intercept. So, let's go label these on the graph. So vertex, highest, maximum, or lowest minimum. So let's go to a graph over here, and you should have this graph. The vertex is like the lowest point on this graph, down here, the lowest point. And you should have this graph again. That's the vertex. Okay, it's where the graph curves around and comes back up. This particular vertex, it's the lowest point. So, it's called a minimum. So I don't have that written here, but I'll write it with words here. This is a minimum. Okay, minimum. Let's write it with this. Mainly because it's the lowest point. Okay. Let's see if we have another graph here. Well, looks like we only have one graph for now, but we'll look at some other graphs later. Okay, so let's go to the next thing. X-intercepts. Well, usually there's 2, so let's look at, there's one x-intercept here and one x-intercept here. So you can label it on your diagram there. There's 2 x-intercepts at 1 and at -2. That's where it hits the x-axis. Okay, let's look at the next one. And you'd write like x1, 0 and x2, 0. Y-intercept, where the quadrant hits the y-axis. So let's go back here. This here is the y-intercept. Okay, and you'd write it as a coordinate. So for this particular one, the y-intercept here is x is 0, so 0, -3. And the 2 x-intercepts, if you wanted to write them, okay, this one here would be -2, 0. And the other one there would be 1, 0. Okay, and finally, the shape of this whole shape is called a parabola. Okay, let's move on to the next part here. Openings. Opens up means a smile. So this is like opens up means a smile. Parabola will have a minimum. So it'll have the smallest point, will have a minimum. Oops. If it opens down, a frown, okay, it'll have a maximum, and it's shaped as a frown. So this is down, and that's a maximum on the top. That little dot there is the highest. The vertex is a maximum. Okay, let's take a look here. So this here, you got 2 parabolas here. This one here, the blue one that goes this way. Okay, that opens up. Now this point at the edge here, the vertex, that's a minimum. Now this red parabola opens down. and has a maximum. That point there's a maximum, and it opens. If you can't read that, this parabola opens down. The red one opens down. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, axis of symmetry. It's a line that cuts a parabola in half. Two halves are equal. It's usually you say it's x equals p, or in this case here, it cuts the parabola in half. X equals 2. Should be like arrows on the ends of these. But this particular axis of symmetry is x equals 2. Okay, maybe we can go back to some of the other ones here, and I'll show you the axis of symmetry on some of the other ones. Here cuts it, looks like these go by 2. This cuts it right down the middle here. That axis of symmetry here is x equals -1. This cuts it right here. Okay, and this axis of symmetry is x equals 4. It's a line that cuts it in half. It goes through the vertex. Okay, let's keep going here. Examples of where parabola relations occur: well, arches, gravity pulling items down, bridges, and if you ever play Angry Birds, you see that parabola shape in Angry Birds. Okay, let's look at this example, or this question 3. State the vertex. So let's see if I can color code it a bit. We'll change colors. We'll do the purple for the vertex. Dot down here. It's at -2, -8. So you put the x first, -2, comma, -8. That's the coordinates of the vertex right down at the bottom here, right down here. Okay, is the vertex a minimum or maximum? So it's a smile, it opens up. So this opens up, so we'll put that up here, up. So it has to be a minimum. I'll just write the word min. Let's switch colors for some items. For the axis of symmetry, let's use a different color here. We get our pen. We'll draw it in green. So the axis of symmetry should use a straight line here. So I'll use this line command, and there should be 2 arrows on the end. There's a line that cuts the parabola in half, so it's a line that goes right there, cuts it in half, and I'll use the green here. Okay, this axis of symmetry here, the equation, it goes through -2, so it's x equals -2. We just put it in here, x equals -2. It's that line that just cuts the parabola in half. Okay, the 2 x-intercepts. So let's pick a different color for that, and I'll show you the 2 x-intercepts. Use red. So there's one right here, and the other's over here. So x goes first, so -6 goes first. So it's negative, let's change that color for that too. -6, comma 0. Don't forget the 0. And the other one is 2, comma 0. Okay. Y-intercept. So let's go with the yellow here. Hopefully everyone, although the blue is probably a bit easier to see. There's the y-intercept. Y-intercept is when x equals 0. So when we write the y-intercept, we go 0, comma, and that one's 0, comma, -6. And there we filled in that table. And we've labeled all the parts. We know what goes up. Okay, we'll do one that goes down now, and we'll do the opposite. So let's go switch to the next one. Okay, so the vertex of this one, so we'll stick with the blue first. It's right here. So the vertex is here. The vertex, it's kind of hard for me to see. I'm going to have to move this chart up a little bit. There. And I'll move that point up as well. The vertex here, so you go to 2.5, and then you go all the way up to, well, it's under the 13, 12.5. So x goes first, 2.5, comma, 12.5. Okay, one more time we'll check. Doesn't go to the 3, goes between the 2 and the 3, 2.5. Okay, right here, 2.5. Then we come up and across here, it looks like 12. It doesn't go to the 13, looks like 12.5. Now, is this vertex the highest point or the lowest point, the minimum or the maximum? It's the maximum. So I'll write the word maximum, or just max here, M-A-X. Okay. Now, this opens a frown. It's a frown shape. So I'll do the direction of opening. It's down. Okay. Let's now draw the axis of symmetry. Okay, so we'll use our line command here, or this line here, so we can draw a nice straight line. We'll draw the axis of symmetry right down there. So it's right between 2 and the 3, so it's at the 2.5. Okay, so we'll draw it and we'll make it our nice purple color here. Oh, it's coming out blue. I'll click there again. Here, here. It comes right down there. Just use a ruler here. And x equals 2.5. Okay. Next we'll do, let's keep going. Next we'll do our x-intercepts. Let's pick a red color for that. There's one x-intercept here. Okay, one here. And there's another x-intercept here. So our two x-intercepts, one's 0, 0. And our second 5, 0. So x goes first is 5, 0. Okay, x, y. Finally, our y-intercept, okay? Our y-intercept, well, it's the same as the x-intercept. So maybe I will use that yellow here. It's right there as well. It's the same as the other one. It's still 0, 0. It's the same as one of the x-intercepts. So 0, 0. I would like you to do the other one. Shouldn't take long. It's a very short activity. I've split them up into tiny activities, smaller ones. Try the other one, see if you understand these. Try the other two questions, see if you understand these concepts.